Hi, everyone. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing two great people, Emily Enestroza and Andrew Minkus. Both of them are current students at USC, and they are also co-presidents of a great organization known as ALPFA, which stands for the Association of Latino Professionals for America. And the three of us, we actually met, I think, about a year ago when we were all involved in helping out at a program that USC put together called the Leventhal Leadership Program. And the goal of that program was to get more underrepresented minority students from community colleges to transfer into USC's undergraduate accounting program. So Emily and Andrew, thank you both so much for taking time from your busy schedule to come speak with my students today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
I have some questions prepared in advance, and hopefully by going through these questions, it will give students an idea about why ALPFA is a great program. Okay, so the first question I have is, can each of you first briefly introduce yourself and tell us what you're currently studying at USC?
Yes, so my name is Emily. I am a senior at USC, majoring in business administration with an emphasis in data science and operations.
And as we mentioned, I'm Andrew. I'm a junior at USC, double majoring in business administration and accounting with a double emphasis in data science and finance. And I actually originally transferred from Santa Monica College.
Oh, fantastic. All right. So I was just curious, why did you choose those majors? Was it because your parents studied in those areas and you wanted to follow their footsteps? Or is it just because you thought they were actually fun?
So I initially was an accounting major, and that's because my dad is an accountant, so I wanted to follow his footsteps. But after going through the process and completing some internships, I realized that accounting was not for me, but I wanted to stay within the realm of business. So I decided to switch my major from accounting to business administration, and I'm really interested in understanding how businesses work, and I want to pursue the field of consulting.
And I'm really passionate about entrepreneurship, so I always knew I wanted to come to USC for business. And then I realized how important accounting is, as it is the language of business. And so that's why I took on the double major. But my parents, I didn't grow up in the business world. Both my parents are in the medical field, so it was it was a whole new thing for them.
So can you share with students what ALPFA is all about and why it really benefits them?
Yeah, so ALPFA is a national organization that is dedicated to promoting diversity and inclusion in the workforce and helping students and professionals both develop as leaders and develop personally and professionally. And us here at ALPFA USC, we do that through there are three main ways that we do that. First, we host professional events, which are essentially info sessions with several companies, and we mostly hold our events with companies in accounting, finance, and consulting. So we host the Big Four, some consulting firms, and then some finance companies. And then we also host workshops, and we do resume workshop, mock interview, cover letters. So we help prepare you for the interview process and for applying for an internship or full-time opportunity. And then thirdly, we host social events. And so as ALPFA, we like to call ourselves ALPHamelia. So we like to host social events to help foster a community and a culture to help students find themselves within a group and also help integrate, the transfer students, since ALPFA does have a really large transfer population.
So, ALPFA is actually, you guys are the co-presidents at the USC chapter, but they're all over the US. So if a student were to go to Cal State Northridge, go to UCLA, they have chapters everywhere, right? So, of course, if you're going to USC, they're going to be talking to you guys, but if they go to another college, there is also an ALPFA organization there as well. So, I noticed there's the word Latino in ALPFA, right? So do you have to be Latino in order to join ALPFA? I mean, what if you're an African-American student, an Asian student, or a white student? Can they join as well?
Absolutely. So no, yeah, we're accepting of every ethnic background. Just because it has Latino in the name, we're not exclusive to only Latinos. As Emily mentioned, our main goal is to promote diversity in the workforce. So, and that's comes from all walks of life.
Fantastic. And also, I have to also ask, what if a student initially went to college and decided to study history or chemistry or ethnic studies? I mean, can they also join ALPFA as well?
Yes, of course. One of the cool things that we do, because we host a lot of different firms, being in accounting, finance, and consulting as well, a lot of the opportunities that are in consulting actually promote people with different educational backgrounds. So not being a business major gives you a great perspective on how to problem solve. and utilizing the knowledge that you have in, I don't know, let's say the music school or in the communication school is actually beneficial in that field.
You know, when I was in college, I went to Berkeley for my undergraduate degree. We didn't actually have ALPFA back then, but we did have two organizations somewhat similar to ALPFA. One of them being Delta Sigma Pi, which was our business fraternity, co-ed fraternity. And the other one was Beta Alpha Psi, which is our co-ed accounting fraternity. And so they also put on these wonderful events similar to Alpha. But the downside is that it really, in order to be part of those organizations, you had to commit a great deal of your own time. And if you're someone who's working part-time or had other family obligations, it was actually very difficult to become one of those members. So I wanted to ask you guys, for Alpha, are you guys a little bit more flexible? Like, is there a little bit less time commitment? Because I know a lot of people would want to be part of Alpha. It's just that they probably can't treat this as almost like a full-time job.
Yeah, so Alpha here at USC, we do require our members to attend most of our events. We only give them 1 or 2 excused absences for the events, but we do require students to attend all our professional events, and that is essentially so you can benefit from everything that Alpha has to offer. You know, we make this a requirement, but it's honestly for your own good. As like Alpha nationally, each organization varies. I know, for example, at CSUN, if you're an Alpha member there, you're not required to go to every event at your will. So each organization, you know, varies differently, and the requirements can be different. But that is all for here at USC. Just attending the professional events. Social events and workshops are not mandatory. You can attend them at your own will.
Right, and I think just to elaborate on that, we only have about 8 or 9 professional events every year, or every semester, sorry. And the professional events are only 2 hours each. And so it's really not a huge time commitment, and especially compared to some of the other organizations, professional organizations at universities, we don't require a lot of time commitment from our members.
Hopefully that will convince more students to apply to Alpha when they transfer to a 4-year university. And one last question. I know both of you guys are great students, and you all did some internships, I believe, in the past summers. So could you share a little bit about that and where you might be heading to work, which company you might be working for when you graduate?
Yeah, so this past summer I interned at a company called FTI Consulting, where I was in their data analytics consulting group. And essentially what I did was I got to work with several data tools such as SQL, Python, R, Tableau, and we help businesses better understand their data and how they can use their data to their advantage. You know, a lot of companies are collecting data but are not sure what to do with them. So we help clients, you know, better use them and also visualize the data that they are collecting. So that's what I did this summer, but for post-graduation, I will be starting full-time at Deloitte Consulting in their technology practice.
And then for myself, I just finished an internship at Ernst & Young in the LA office here. And the internship that I did was a diversity internship. So it's only available for people of diverse ethnic backgrounds. And what we did in the internship was, it was a rotational. So we did a week rotation in every single line of service that they offer. And because I'm focusing on advisory or consulting, I was fortunate enough to be able to do a few weeks in that field as well. So the first week I did was tax, and then the second was audit. And I was also fortunate enough to be able to go to Sacramento to do some government business development. And then one of my favorite projects actually was doing a finance restructuring for a software company.
Wow, cool. It looks like you guys have a bright career ahead of you. So that's wonderful. Great news. Again, thank you so much for coming to do this interview with me. And I think this is just great information. I think students, by hearing what you have to say, they kind of already know why Alpha would be a great organization to participate. Hopefully, again, they'll join as soon as they transfer to a 4-year university, or if they're already at a 4-year university, they should sign up as soon as possible. So thanks again. And I look forward to seeing you guys at probably the next USC $11 leadership program, which I think will take place next year. So yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
Yeah.